Hello everyone, my name is RJ, and today I feel like doing a review on a show that many would call terrible, many would call sad, many would call an unequivocally depressing story. But I'm here to review the Netflix original, Lemony Snicket's, in a series of unfortunate events. So guys, after that fun little intro, I just wanted to let you guys know that one, spoilers are ahead, and two, I have no previous knowledge of the Lemony Snicket and Unfortunate Events universe. I never read the books as a kid, and I didn't really watch the movie that came out a few years ago. I heard it was mediocre from a few friends that actually saw it, and I asked them about it before this. And I just, whatever, I'm not going to base any of my comparisons upon that. I'm just going to go into this with a fresh slate. So mind me if maybe I'm way off base here and the books are, obviously the books are going to be different than the show. But point is, I'm going to review this from an outsider. I'm not an insider on this universe. So I'm just going to kind of review what I saw, how everything looked. And so pretty much let's start off with casting. This show absolutely nailed casting. They did an amazing job, and it's anchored, of course, by Neil Patrick Harris. I would consider this show to pretty much be his baby. He talked about it a ton. He's promoted for it a ton, and he's done a great job. Okay, in this show, he gets to do what he does best. One, he gets to sing. Two, he gets to act ridiculously outlandish. And three, it puts all of his great aspects into the limelight. So, he gets to do his musical numbers and stuff like that, where his voice, which, by the way, I absolutely love. I loved it on How I Met Your Mother as well, and he's been on Broadway, so the guy's got pipes. But yeah, so the vocal range that he shows and just the way he acts within a show is perfect for the character of Count Olaf, and he just absolutely nails it. There's no other way to say it. Whenever I think of an evil, conniving character, it will probably now come to my mind as Neil Patrick Harris's Count Olaf. He's conniving, but in a way in which you're not incredibly fearful of him. But if I was younger and I was a kid, I would probably have nightmares about him. He's a creep. He does some of the creepiest things in the show. He tries to marry a 15-year-old girl. Yeah, no, it's just, in general, I really like the way Neil Patrick Harris pulled off this villain type. In a lot of other things that he's been in, he's been a good character. He hasn't been a villain as much. And I think moving forward, people could see him in this role and see kind of how flexible he is. So maybe we'll get more of that in the future. I guess he was in Gone Girl, and he was kind of a villain in that. I don't know. Point is, moving on, you have Melina Weissman as Violet, and holy cow. Okay, I'll just say also Louise Hines, Violet and Klaus, the two children that do most of the speaking lines on the kids' end, is just absolutely phenomenal. These kids are reading off script lines that I couldn't even remotely conquer in my wildest daydreams. And for someone that normally hates childhood acting, which is me, The Phantom Menace was a terrible movie. Don't ever try to question me on that. But the childhood acting thing has always been a problem for me. When I see someone or a group of actor and actresses like this, these two together, pull off something that I believed wasn't even possible when it comes to childhood acting, they do a great job. This show, for being a TV show with a limited amount of budget, they did a great job. They're reading lines that have, paragraphs upon knowledge. They use intense words, that some of which I actually had to learn from this show. And in general, I really do like the way that these two feed off of each other as well. Violet and Klaus in the show, their intellect and their dialect reign supreme, and that's just not something that I would have pictured coming from two kids. And I don't know if maybe Neil Patrick Harris helps bring that out on in the actual production set. I don't know. Maybe it's just the director did a great job of editing and cuts. Or maybe these two are just literally actor and actress gods. They're reading some of these things that are Gilmore Girls-esque, where it's they do a whole master shot almost, and they're reading these extended lines with huge words. And yeah, I loved their performance. They did a great job. I'm not going to say anything about the baby because they don't even really offer any English for that. So, but they did a great job. Klaus and Violet, they did great. And then actually my favorite character besides Count Olaf, though, I have to give to Patrick Warburton. his performance as Lemony Snicket describing these events, breaking the fourth wall, and well, I guess he's a narrator, so he's not technically, but point is, he's telling about his own story, and he knows it's a story, so I'd consider it, a hybrid. But yeah, the way he walks onto each of these desolate scenes and these sets, and he's just like wandering around and begging the viewer to turn it off, and I know that a lot of the quotes he's pulling, and actually throughout this whole show, a lot of the quotes they're pulling are actually from the books, according to some of my friends. So correct me if I'm wrong down below, but it sounds like they did a great job of pulling in exact quotes from the book without overemphasizing that it sounds like a line from a novel. So I think they did a great job of that in Game of Thrones too. They, for the first 3 seasons, they actually pull literal lines out of the book and place them into the words and in the script, and I love that because it keeps people that actually read the book and read the novels, it keeps them intrigued. So yeah, they did a great job on that, and I just thought Patrick Warburton did such a good job. And I obviously this show is getting renewed for a second season. Any of you that have any doubts out there, this show is for sure getting renewed, unless it for some reason flops on Netflix, which I really, really doubt. Netflix originals are pretty much taking off right now. But yeah, the way that Patrick Warburton sets each scene and begins each episode and helps, and it's cool because you see this outside plot going outside of Violet and Klaus's unfortunate events. You see this outside plot where Lemony Snicket's going from place to place and avoiding people, and I really like the way he portrays Lemony Snicket, his deep voice, like that I was trying to imitate at the beginning of this. I just really enjoyed the way he played the character, and it got me intrigued for every episode I would watch. I watched a lot of these in a row. I think I did 4 and 4. I took a break in between, but pretty much every episode that I was like, in the middle of the series, it got a little bit slower, and I was like, I don't know if I'm that interested in watching the rest of this right now. Maybe I'll do it later. But then his monologue would come on, and he would be, listing off everything, and he sets the mood perfectly, and the way he's in front of all of these, desolate backgrounds. He does a really good job of setting the mood. And speaking of those desolate backgrounds, I gotta give props to the cinematography team for this as well. They do a great job. It doesn't look like a lot of their sets are like physical sets. It looks like a lot of it's virtual. So eking out the actor's performance while keeping the visuals in the show were really good. If you don't like a gray tone to movies like the last few Harry Potter movies, then you might not like the way that this movie looks. But I really like the Tim Burton-esque, it's darker, it's gray, it's washed out, and I like the color scheme for that, because then when you have things like when they're in the lighthouse with the lake and the purple lighthouse is going around and everything else has a gray tone, the colors stand out very vividly, and they can kind of point that out. It's kind of like a Great Gatsby effect with the green light. I really like the way that they kind of pull in some of these scenes, even though they're obviously not physical. There's a lot of CGI going on in the background, and it was never too intrusive for me. I mean, there are spots where I was like, okay, guys, yeah, a little too obvious for me. But in general, throughout pretty much the majority of the show, they did a really good job of keeping it subtle, not being over, extreme for some things. Obviously, the baby stuff, they kind of have to be. But yeah, in general, I thought the scenes look great. And then let's talk about the music. Okay, the opening for this show is amazing. Neil Patrick Harris, as per usual, is showing his musical ability. And look away, look away. It fits the show, the way that they're doing the intro. They're asking the viewer to stop, and I really like the way they do that. But then the music within the show, where they're building up high tension moments. I mean, there's one point where they're at the house on the cliff, and it's starting to break apart, and then you hear like this banjo like strumming along, like bam 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 bam, like in the. I loved it. It was like a goofy set, but then they also mixed in some like darker tones. And it set a really good overall balance, because they have to keep this light enough for like the preteen crowd, I think. But they want to give it dark enough that younger adults and adults in general will be more interested in the show. So RJ, you're telling me that the sound was great, the casting was great, the script was great, and the cinematography was great. So what didn't I like about this movie? And honestly, there isn't that much here for me to list. I thought some of the side actors, the supporting actors, I thought they were good. I loved Will Arnett and Kobe Smulders as mother and father. I loved that plot twist, by the way. That was crazy at the end. But yeah, no, I things I really didn't like. There were a few side actors that I had issue with. I thought Monty did a good job. I thought the aunt did okay, but I thought maybe there was a little bit room for improvement. She was kind of overacting in certain scenes, like with the cave, and I know that that was also part of her character too. But yeah, I could sense at times that she was pushing it. And then Count Olaf's main assistant, the guy with, hook hands or whatever, I don't mind him, but I feel like he's kind of a sellout character a little bit for this. I thought that they should have maybe pulled someone in that's a little bit scarier up front, because he doesn't provide any fear for most people I've asked about this. So it definitely didn't for me. I don't know. I'm trying to find small nitpicky things to complain about this show, because overall, season 1 was amazing. I mean, that's pretty much the end bargain here for you guys. It's 8 episodes. It's not that long, but it kept me interested throughout. The middle episodes where they're going from, place to place, from, uncle and then aunt, I thought it was a little bit down at times. Like it definitely paced downward for a little bit there. And then near the end, things started to get really, really crazy. And I thought the way that they ended the show for season 1 was perfect too. We get, they're left off at this boarding school and we have no idea. And yeah, there's some really cool things that they can do. So let's talk about big questions that we have for season 2. One, where is Count Olaf? That's the best part, is Lemony Snicket makes that point so many different times, is where is Count Olaf? It's not about this, it's not about that. It's about where Count Olaf is and what his scheme is. So, one, we need to know where Count Olaf is at the school. Clearly, he's going to be like one of the teachers or something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to do a theory video for this as well. But yeah, so we have to find out, what's happening there. Who are the other kids? Are they children? Were they children of Will Arnett and Kobe, or were those new kids? I haven't gone back and actually looked fast enough. But yeah, I'm kind of curious who those kids are, why they have the other end of the telescope, and yeah, I really did like the way that they're leaving this open for the second season. They could go a lot of different directions, and I mean, this story in general leaves it open. Obviously, they have to follow the book to a certain extent, or books, sorry, to a certain extent, but there is a lot of openness here, and I think that they could take that in a lot of different directions, and I think that because the actors and actresses this season showed how versatile they actually were, I think it kind of leaves them open to be able to do anything in the future. So prospects galore for season 2 of a series of unfortunate events. So you guys are probably wanting to know my score for this season, and I have to say episodes 1 through 8 of a Netflix original, A Series of Unfortunate Events, is going to get a 9.0 out of 10 for me. It hit pretty much all of my funny bones. It kept it light and interesting and then really dark at times, but it wasn't one or the other. And I mean, that goes along with their hints in the show of everything is not black and white. They mix in a lot of good questions. The script writing for the show is amazing. The kid actors are amazing. And I know that they're a little older, by the way. I know that they're not like, Anakin Skywalker levels, but point is, they do a great job. A lot of the supporting cast did a great job. There were a few issues at times that I had with supporting actors, and maybe the CGI was used a little too much with the baby stuff at times, but in general, I thought this show did a really great job of capturing imagination and keeping me glued to the TV. I didn't want to turn this off, and the only reason I took a break was because my eyes were hurting and I'd been staring at a computer screen all day. So I really highly recommend you all go watch this series. Neil Patrick Harris is at his best in this show. He's a villain, he's funny, he's all over the place, and that's honestly when he's at his best. So if you guys are looking for a show to keep you busy for 8 hours of entertainment and is most certainly going to win at least 1 or 2 Emmys next year, yeah, right here, you want to watch A Series of Unfortunate Events. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love doing a review for this show, and if you guys want, just let me know down below what you guys think we should review next. We're totally open to suggestions. We're trying to do new and upcoming shows, so try not to do anything that's older than like a couple weeks that's been released on Amazon Prime or HBO Now or Netflix originals. We're trying to stick to mostly online shows, but we definitely have some live TV stuff like with Gotham and The Expanse and a few other things. But in general, let me know what you guys want us to review down below. We're, once again, totally open to suggestions, and we have a pretty wide gamut, so you guys can kind of send us anything you want, something you guys really enjoyed, so let us know down in the comments. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are growing and we need more subscribers, so go ahead and click that red button down below. It's in the video description as well. And also follow us on social media. Start a different conversation with us there. Also, once again, let us know your favorite shows, maybe something that we can review in the future. And until next time, guys, we'll see you soon.